Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TVC Spotlight. I'm your host, Tamara Lopez, and today I'm here at the Habitat for Humanity Halton office where we'll be talking to the executive director as well as one of the home partner families. They also recently had their groundbreaking, so we'll talk about that as well. Welcome with me right now is Anne Swarbrick, who is the executive director for Habitat for Humanity Halton. Welcome.
Thank you, Tamara.
So recently there was a groundbreaking that went on in Milton. It was the first one, or the first home. How did that go?
We've built homes for people whose incomes are below the poverty level all around Halton, but this is our first time in Milton, so we're delighted to be able to take the model to Milton. Essentially, we help to lift people up out of poverty, good, hardworking people who just otherwise could never hope to own their own home, but through the Habitat model, they are able to purchase a home.
Right, so starting with, what exactly is Habitat for Humanity then? I know it's this nonprofit organization, but what else?
Habitat has a vision that everybody should have a safe, decent, affordable home in which to live. And so we work to make that true for people below the poverty line around the world. Habitat exists in over 100 countries around the world, but also here in our own backyard, because believe it or not, in Halton, almost 9% of people do live below the poverty line, and many of them are hardworking people, but they're working in minimum wage jobs, or they're single parents trying to raise a family on one small income. People for whom being able to purchase a home and grow that kind of equity in their home that most of us want to do is what can help lift them up out of poverty instead of waving goodbye to rent every month. That just makes them poorer all the time, and often in places that are substandard housing or what we call poverty housing, where they're paying more than 30% of their income on rent.
Wow.
So our Habitat model helps to turn that around so that one day, if they ever sell the home, they can benefit the same as the rest of us from that appreciated equity to perhaps help their kids go to post-secondary education and help break a cycle of poverty, or be able to one day have something on which to retire instead of living in poverty as seniors.
I didn't even realize that the percentage was so high in the Halton region at 9%. How long has Habitat for Humanity Halton been around?
We've been in Halton for 12 years now.
Oh, 12 years. And it's been around again. The organization has a long history, been around longer than that.
Yes, it started in Winnipeg in Canada, but it also started in the United States in the 40s.
And roughly thus far, how many families has Habitat for Humanity Halton helped?
In Halton, we have now helped 16 families to be able to purchase a home who otherwise never would have hoped to, and we're really working hard to grow our impact. And so the more people get involved with us to help us do that, whether it's as volunteers, whether it's as donors, that will help us continue to be able to help more and more people. We've got affiliates like Habitat Halton, but say in Toronto or Edmonton, who not that long ago were building either one home a year or 4 or 6 homes a year, who are now building 80 or 100 homes a year because of the community really coming together to help Habitat grow and strengthen its ability to help more people across the community. And it does it in a fun, engaging way of getting everybody involved as volunteers in helping to build a home and have fun while doing it, getting to know each other. At the groundbreaking you were referring to in Milton, for our first home in Milton, we not only had politicians from all levels, we had corporations from all levels, we had some of the volunteers who volunteer with us year in and year out to help hammer and build the walls and build homes. And we had volunteers from our ReStore, which is a really crucial foundation for Habitat Halton, because it's through our ReStore where we sell building materials and home products that we're able to make the money that pays all of our administrative costs and all of our fundraising costs, so that every dollar anybody gives us goes directly out into our programs, helping more people out in the community. And not many charities can say that. We're one of North America's top sustainable models in the charitable world.
That's absolutely amazing how you make the money from the store, which I'll be taking a tour of later on, of course, and then that goes right back into building these homes for the impoverished.
And you know how people often complain that, oh, I'm concerned about giving my money to a charity because how much is just going to be lost in administration. With Habitat, there's no money lost in administration because we earn the money to cover our administrative costs through the purchases in the ReStore. So when people come in to shop at the ReStore, that helps Habitat as well.
That's amazing. And even still, I noticed the prices, I had a quick walkthrough already, is that they're very affordable, which is nice.
You're right. Our policy is really to make sure that we're charging only about 70% of what people would pay in anywhere else in Halton.
Of course. Now, this is obviously a global organization. Roughly how many homes do you know have they built for Habitat? I believe it's I think it's about...
In Canada or around
the world?
No,
I believe around the world. Again, a global organization, you said over 90 countries?
In over 100 countries now.
Over 100, sorry.
Right. A lot. I confess I'm forgetting how many. In Canada now, I think we're approaching 3,000 in Canada now.
Oh, nice. And it goes again, you said from Ontario, we have offices in Winnipeg, attachments in Winnipeg?
And in fact, because so recently in the news has been the issue about Canada's Aboriginal people and the housing issue, and interesting that on the day that we broke ground in Milton to build our first home in Milton, our national Chief Executive Officer, Stuart Hardacre, who lives in Milton, was actually having to be in Ottawa to sign an agreement with Aboriginal communities for building Habitat homes with Aboriginal communities across Canada.
Well, I hope that that's absolutely another good initiative that he's taking on. That's absolutely fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. When it comes to building the actual homes, where do you get the materials? Are those donated? I know that a lot of the homes are built through volunteers. What about the actual items?
This is another wonderful example of community coming together with Habitat, because so many corporations decide that they would like to give us gift-in-kind contributions to help build those homes. So usually the cost for us of building a home is about 50% of what it would be otherwise, because of all of the in terms of materials, because of all of the companies like Roxol, for instance, contributes insulation to us. Wholesome contributes concrete to us. So many companies are so generous with their services.
So do you also have sponsors? Excuse me, do you also have sponsors as well that participate?
And thank you for asking. We're delighted.
No
in Milton, for instance, Mattamy Homes has donated the land to us, so another wonderful gift in kind. Wow. The Oakville and Milton District Real Estate Board has raised over $100,000 for Habitat, and that's a lot of hard work that their volunteers did, organizing a gala, organizing a silent and live auction, organizing a wonderful mob event in the street, a flash mob event in the street. They did a lot of things to raise over $100,000 to help make sure that we can help more people in the community.
So they've raised money. Do you also do fundraising for yourself?
Mostly the way that we do our fundraising is through engaging corporate sponsors to help us build, and also asking people to be generous and write checks. For instance, again in Milton, one couple who own a small business decided to be anonymous in making a $10,000 gift. Well, not everybody can do that.
Of course.
Those who can, they said that they feel so blessed with how fortunate and successful they have been, and they wanted to share that. Others might do that with $10. Whatever is within people's ability to give is what will help Habitat to grow.
That's absolutely amazing that Mattamy was able to donate land, because again, land is also very expensive to purchase, so that's a very good windfall for you almost. Do these homes, when they're finished, come fully furnished or with the appliances, or is that, again, extra they have to buy?
Thank you for helping us recognize another ongoing sponsor. Whirlpool Canada has been tremendously generous with Habitat, and usually do donate the basic appliances, washer, dryer, stove, and fridge for Habitat homes as well.
Oh, so they do come then with the appliances?
Yes, not furnished,
no,
but with the appliances.
The appliances, that's good. What is the actual process then for the occupants to be considered to be a receiving family for the Habitat for Humanity homes?
We try to advertise widely to make sure that people who are living below the poverty line know that they can apply for consideration to Habitat. And there's really three basic criteria to meet. One is the income range. They need to be low enough in income to be below the poverty line. On the other hand, towards the higher part of that so that they can afford to pay back the mortgage, which I'll explain in a moment. Secondly, they have to currently be either living in substandard housing, meaning health and safety conditions, or overcrowding, or in poverty housing, which means paying more than 30% of their income on housing. And then the third requirement is willingness to partner with us, which means things like, instead of a down payment, putting in 500 hours of sweat equity towards a combination of helping to build the home or in our ReStore, some kind of community work with us. And also in terms of partnering, being willing to open up their credit background, because we need to make sure that they are a good risk. And in fact, less than 1% of Habitat families have ever defaulted on their mortgages. So explaining the mortgage, there's basically two mortgages. The family does pay the fair market value for the home. It's our financial model that makes it possible. So the first mortgage is for 60% of the fair market value of the home. And the second mortgage is payable only when title changes. And neither one has interest to pay on it, because believe it or not, one of the things I learned when I started working at Habitat is it's a basic tenet of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism to not charge interest on loans. And so that's part of Habitat's faith-based approach, is that we don't charge interest on the mortgages. On the other hand, people will end up eventually paying off the mortgage for their homes.
That's fantastic. I wish that everyone could adopt that model. It would be fantastic. What about the step-by-step process of how the home comes together? So now you have land donated from Mattamy. What happens after that?
We learn to be developers usually. Now in Mattamy's case, Mattamy is taking care of making that easy for us. But in some land situations, and hopefully yet in Milton as well, we actually have to find a lot, usually buy the lot, raise money to be able to pay for it, because of course we have to pay for it up front to be able to be the mortgage holder for the family. And then go through all the municipal site planning, building permits, etc. We have a construction manager who plans how to build the home, and then organizes the volunteer crews.
So it's very hands-on. Have you actually been participating in building a home yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's actually fantastic too, that you have the homeowner is allowed during her sweat equity to actually help build the home that she will be living in.
We think it's important from a number of perspectives, but including demystifying what's behind that drywall. How does a home work, so that it's more understandable as to how to repair and how to maintain a home. Learning things like, how do you prevent mold problems? Because sometimes that's exactly the health and safety condition people are having to move out of their current abodes from. So we want to make sure that they know enough as to, well, how do you prevent mold and other conditions from developing in their new Habitat home?
Okay, and one final question for you. How can we, as a community, if I wanted to get involved in Habitat for Humanity Halton, how would I go about doing that? Do you have a website or a way to contact the office?
We have a website. It's www.habitathalton.ca. You will see on there the kind of volunteer positions currently being advertised and the ability to apply for them online or to call our coordinator of volunteer services. And of course, if it's being interested in making a donation, there's an ability to donate online too. Again, with whatever people can afford. And of course, if people are really interested, particularly in higher level donations, and want to talk to somebody about that, then they're definitely encouraged to call for that purpose as well. And of course, to learn more about the ReStore and what we carry there.
Of course, and we're going to make sure we take a tour of that later on in the show today.
Be sure to learn about when people are renovating their kitchens or bathrooms, how it is that it can be such a wonderful win-win-win opportunity, that we'll send out a volunteer to assess their kitchen, to then pick them up and deliver them for free back to the ReStore, and then the donor will get a tax receipt at the end for the value that the kitchen sells at.
Nice. I like win-win-win situations as well. Well, thank you, Anne Swarbrick, for being on the show with us today. Very insightful information, of course. And stay tuned. We're going to talk to one of the family partners. with me now is one of the Habitat for Humanity partner families, Ginger. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How did you come to learn about Habitat for Humanity Halton?
I learned about them through an email that I received from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it was for their homeworks program.
What exactly were the requirements you had to meet in order to be considered a partner family?
We have to do 500 hours of sweat equity.
What exactly is sweat equity? Sounds like a lot.
We have to help to build the home, so be on the site. We have to do volunteer hours with Habitat for Humanity, such as work in the ReStore, participate in some of the programs, be on some of the committees and stuff like that.
Have you ever built a home before?
No.
This will be your first time.
Yes.
I know that you have a family. Tell me about them.
I have 4 children.
And how are they feeling about this whole experience?
They're very excited about it and very eager to get into our new home.
What does the home mean to you?
To me and my family, it's a place that we can go that is our own. It's our very own home that we can be together and we can do the things that we want to do as a family and improve on.
And how will this home from Habitat for Humanity Halton help you build a better future in Milton?
It will give us a residence because we're not residents of Milton right now. So it would give us a residence. Like I said already, that it's a home that's our own. So that's, for the betterment of my family, and it gives us a better living condition as well.
How has Habitat for Humanity changed your life?
It's led me to see different things that they do for the community. It's also helped me with my budgeting, as I said, from the previous program, which was the homeworks program. It's helped me to get debt-free. It's helped me to also be a homeowner. So it's bettered my life.
When it talks about financing, what sorts of steps do they take you through to budget?
It's the literacy program for finance. So it breaks it down to different things as to, different things that we can do to cut out different things that we don't need to learn about, what are, how to pay down debts and different things like that.
And it's definitely helped.
It does help.
And would you continue on volunteering or being a part of the Habitat for Humanity after the fact?
Yes, I really believe in what they're doing.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I want to thank you for, of course, sharing your story with us today. I know it's not always easy to talk about, but thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
And I do wish you the best of luck, obviously, with the new home and your new life.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. With me now is Tracy Pingel, who is the chair of the Family Partnering Committee with Habitat for Humanity Halton. Welcome.
Thank you.
What is your role?
Well, I chair the committee that does the selection and the support for the partner families for our homeownership program.
And how do you go about selecting an actual family?
Okay, well, we start off with hosting information sessions in the community for low-income earners, and it explains the qualifications for the program. Then from that we solicit applications. Our committee reviews the applications. They have to meet 3 criteria. They have to fall within the income guidelines. They have to fall under the low income guidelines set by the Stats Canada. They have to earn a minimum as well because there is a mortgage that they have to pay. So they have to fall within the minimum and maximum incomes. They have to be willing to partner with Habitat, do the 500 hours of sweat equity, and assist us with public events. And the third and probably most important criteria is they have to be in need. They have to be living in substandard housing conditions or paying more than 30% of their income for rent.
And this is a volunteer position for you, correct?
That's correct.
Why did you decide to be a volunteer, with Habitat for Humanity?
About 6 years ago, I had left one position and was looking for something to do with my time and contacted Habitat for Humanity Halton. They mentioned there was this availability on this committee, and I went to the first few meetings and was very impressed with the caliber of the other volunteers, the commitment they brought to the work, and what they were able to do in the community. They made it possible for low-income people to own their own homes.
And you are helping out my previous guest, Ginger, through the process. How are you helping her out?
Well, once the families are selected, our committee also offers support to the partner families. As you can imagine, for families who have never owned a home before, it can be a very overwhelming process. If you've ever purchased a house yourself, you know, there's lawyers and utilities and all kinds of things to deal with. So in addition to that, they're also having to deal with Habitat, you know, doing the 500 hours, figuring out what this whole system's all about, who to contact. So our committee offers volunteer support to these partner families. And I've done it with several families now, and many of them to this day remain very good friends of mine.
Well, that's great. Now, is it one family at a time that you usually work with, or is it several you select at a time?
Well, we're in transition. It used to be we would work with one family at a time. We would assign 2 volunteers to each family. But now Habitat is ramping up the number of houses that it's building, so we had to change the way that we support the families, so we've moved to group support. So we have meetings once a month on a Saturday morning, and the families come, and that's when we offer them the support, see how they're doing with their sweat equity, address any concerns they might have.
Do they have a certain amount of time in order to complete the sweat equity? I know 500 hours is a lot if they're working,
it
have
is.
family.
It is, and if I can just qualify that, they can have a support team do a certain percentage of those hours. If it's a single parent family, they can have a support team do up to 300 of those hours, and a 2-parent family can have a support team do up to 200 of those hours. So they can get other people in to assist them. And I forget the original question.
No, that wasn't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Is there a way that they can, obviously, is there a time limit for that?
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
Others helping them.
We try to give them at least a year to do it, but lately the builds have been occurring on a much quicker rate. For example, Ginger's will probably be ready sometime like late spring, so hopefully she'll be able to get her 500 hours done by then. She's off to a great start already.
Oh, that's good. Very nice woman. What other programs does Habitat for Humanity offer in order to, say, grow or expand within the communities, locally in Halton and then globally?
Okay, well, locally we have 2 other programs. One's called the Renew It program, and this is a repair and maintenance program for low-income earners. So someone who earns under the maximum incomes allowed, who needs perhaps to make their home wheelchair accessible, can come to us for assistance, and in the form of a no-interest loan and the volunteer labor from Habitat, we can help them complete that work. There's another program called Homeworks, which is the budgeting program Ginger was talking about, where we help people who are struggling with their finances get on track, make them look at their spending patterns, see where they can make improvements, help them address the debt that they've accrued.
And that's great. And if one wanted to become a volunteer with your committee or with building houses, would we contact you?
No, it'd be our volunteer coordinator, and that information is available online. And if I could just talk about the global impact of Habitat. There is a global village, and these are building programs that take place overseas. One of our family partnering committee members last February was a crew leader for a build that took place in India, and he found it to be a very rewarding experience. We've had other volunteers in Habitat Halton go off to different places in the world and assist with those builds.
So those opportunities are available in order for you to be able to go out and build in other areas.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Fantastic organization. Well, I want to thank you, Tracy, for being on the show today. Stay tuned, everyone. When we come back, we're going to be taking an actual tour of the ReStore, which is part of Habitat for Humanity Halton. So here I am now standing inside the Habitat for Humanity ReStore. We're going to be able to talk to the manager about what exactly goes on here. Follow me. Hi.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi, and you are?
I'm Maureen Champagne. I'm the manager of the Halton ReStore, Habitat for Humanity.
What exactly is the ReStore?
The ReStore is where we collect donations from the public, from homes, from Home Depot is one of our big supporters, different retail outlets, and the product is brought here, and the proceeds from the product go to help assist in the building programs here at Habitat.
Oh, that's fantastic. How are the prices comparable to, say, a regular store, a retail store?
Well, we start our discounting prices around 40% on new product, and we go 50% on used product, and depending on the condition of the product itself, it will keep going lower and lower. So we really try to be very competitive and give a great price to our customers.
What sorts of products do you offer inside the store? I see we're standing here by some sort of armoire or a hutch, and then what else do you have?
Well, the way you look at Habitat for Humanity's ReStore is that anything that you put in your house is what we bring in our store. Windows, doors, bathtubs, toilets. We do a complete salvage program that we were working on, and that program allows our volunteers. We have a crew of three crews of volunteers who will go into your home, and they will take your kitchen out for you at no cost to you.
Wow.
Keeps it out of the landfill, and we'll give you a tax receipt for that. And the proceeds and that kitchen goes back into the community to a family who otherwise couldn't afford a brand new kitchen. And you get it's just a feel good.
It's that win-win situation we were talking about. Exactly.
Yeah.
What is the foot traffic like in here usually?
We are quite busy. This is a busy time of the year because a lot of people are doing renovations. Cottage time is in the spring, very busy. A lot of kitchens move in, move out, a lot of toilets, everything, people repairing their cottages in the summertime. The wintertime they're doing home renovations right now, getting ready for the holidays. We have a great lighting sale that's been going on, new product on lighting, and
Thank you so much, Maureen, for giving us an actual insight into the ReStore for Habitat for Humanity. It's been greatly appreciated. That concludes another episode of TVC Spotlight. I'm your host, Tamara Lopez. For more information, visit our website at www.tvcogeco.com/Milton or email us at haltontvcogeco@cogego.com or call our view response line at 289-891-6703. For TV Cogeco in Milton, I'm your host, Tamara Lopez.